testing cum antioxidant workshop. My name is Jerry. I'm the brand director with Pharmanex. We are a leading biotech company from the US. Okay, today's workshop is possible because of an exclusive partnership between Pharmanex and GenomePlan, who are the biggest DNA testing company from Korea. Okay, it's my pleasure and honor to have invited their Asia Pac Regional Manager Min to share with us who are GenomePlan, what is DNA testing about, and how can we use DNA testing to improve our health for health management. Okay, after his segment, I will share what is Pharmanex's role in this workshop. Okay, and when both of us finish our sharing, right, I will open up a Q&A session for you guys to ask questions regarding both services from GenomePlan and Pharmanex. Okay, and at the end of the session, you also know why we also call this workshop a nature with nurture approach to health management. Okay, without further ado, let's welcome Min from GenomePlan. Min.
Yeah, hi, thanks Jerry, and let me share my screen. Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Min from GenomePlan. Today, so I'm going to share about what is genetic testing and how does it beneficial for your health management. And let me start with the company introduction and myself. So GenomePlan is a genetic testing company based in Korea, Japan, and Singapore. So I'm in charge of Southeast Asia operation. And GenomePlan have investors such as SoftBank, Samsung Ventures, and GC Pharma, which is the second largest pharmaceutical company in Korea. So up to now, it's a total investment size is around $30 million. So we are one of the getting the largest funding size in genetic testing industry in Asia. So we consider as one of the top tier genetic testing company in Asia. So we have a lab in Korea and Japan, and both labs are certified top international accreditation called ISO 9001 for the quality management and ISO 27001 is for the security management, it's a data protection. So you can see our lab photo at below, the slide there. And now you hear about, quite a lot of genetic testing and DNA, RNA, especially this pandemic area. You hear a lot of, the RNA vaccination and DNA thing. But actually, people are actually misunderstanding, the difference of genetic testing and medical checkup. So there is a huge difference between genetic testing and medical checkup because genetic testing is analyzing your DNA. DNA is inherited from your both parents. And genetic testing is analyzing mostly DNA information and providing predictive information. So usually, sample type is mostly saliva and blood, and medical checkup is simply providing information of your current condition and symptom is a diagnostic. So that is a major difference. So genetic testing is providing predictive information. Mostly we say the predisposition of your risk. But medical checkup is analyzing your current condition and symptom. For instance, let's say that you are suffering from certain illness, maybe the lung cancer, but genetic testing cannot catch whether you have this lung cancer or not. For medical checkup, of course, they can diagnose whether you have a lung cancer or not, because genetic testing is providing predictive information. So GenomePlan is providing 500 categories of genetic testing item report, including cancer, general disease, and trait, non-disease. So analyzing, risk and predisposition, again, it's a risk prediction information. So process simple. So our test categorized as a home-based genetic testing. So once you order our testing, so I'm arranging to deliver genetic testing kit to your doorstep. So it is a white box, it's a genetic testing kit box, and within a white box there are a few components. The one is the manual, and other one is a return envelope, and there is a plastic tube. It's a saliva collection tube. So what you need to do is spit your saliva into the tube, and after the close the cap and put into the return envelope and drop to the nearest post office. It's already paid return envelope, so you don't need to pay anything about returning your kit. So entire process takes around 2 to 3 weeks, including you analyzing your DNA information and release your report. and your sample delivered all the way to Korea. So you don't need to pay out any delivery charges to Korea. So Genoplan will pay for that. So after 2 to 3 weeks, so we get, and you can check your report from Genoplan website, www.genoplan.com, or you can download mobile application. It's a web-based and mobile application-based report. So I'm going to share about the detail of the report later about this presentation. So now we are living in the, the very specific and special, the period of the pandemic area. And especially this pandemic area, genetic testing is getting more, the popular, and people are getting more attention about, our genetic and DNA. And actually, genetic testing is not something new. It has been around for more than 10 years, but since 2013-14, DNA testing price dropped significantly. So now a lot of people, they can enjoy with this genetic testing with the affordable price. So in fact, America already 20 or 30 million people, they did already DNA testing because DNA testing price dropped significantly, and they can actually provide as a gift to their family and friends. So last Christmas, DNA testing was actually second most popular Christmas gift. And there are a lot of promotion and even TV commercial. A lot of TV commercial is going on regarding to this DNA testing. And in fact, MIT Technology Review, they nominate this DNA testing as a top 10 breakthrough technology because DNA testing provide a lot of insightful information and meaningful information. And from this, the meaningful, insightful information, a lot of people now buying it, and because of the accuracy, so it's much, improved compared to last 10 years. And this day DNA testing is pretty much reliable, and testing result is because testing result is pretty much accurate. So because of this, our genetic DNA information, we can actually shift our paradigm of health management to prevention, prediction, and personalized. So prevention. So everybody understands the importance of prevention, specifically this pandemic area, like a vaccination, social distancing, and wearing masks. It's all about prevention before getting a coronavirus. So actually, we can apply this approach to our just normal health management and disease control. So it's like a weather forecast. So people are watching weather forecast. Basically, if you can predict and you can prevent, like people watching weather forecast to prepare in advance. If there is a snowfall, the forecasting tomorrow, people can, prepare, the wearing a thick jacket, snow boots, and the umbrella. So we can approach this. We can apply this approach to our health management. So people say Angelina Jolie effect because Angelina Jolie, she is the one of the pioneer of this DNA genetic testing. Actually, she is the first celebrity to take DNA testing. She did a DNA testing around 7 or 8 years ago because she had a family history of having a breast cancer and ovary cancer because her mom passed away because of breast cancer, and then her few relatives were suffering from breast and ovary cancer. So she decided to take DNA testing. So after the testing result released, and she found out that the mutation at the BRCA gene. So BRCA is the name of a gene that is associated of developing breast cancer. So with this gene mutation, her chance of developing breast cancer was more than 60 to 80% because of this gene mutation is the increasing her chance of developing breast cancer. So with this information, she did a bit extreme and drastic measure. She actually removed her breast and ovary because removable organ is the best prevention method. But without this genetic testing information, she could have never done that. But because with this information, she could have made this decision. But her decision is still very much controversial even these days. Some doctors say that she maybe not remove her breast. Also, she can prevent because medication of breast cancer is very much developed. So without removing her breast, maybe she could have cured. But anyway, it's her own decision because doctor cannot advise because she made her decision based on DNA information. So this is actually the best example, but it's also drastic example of the prediction linked to prevention. also we can personalize our lifestyle. So there is no like a one size fit all approach to our, the health management and lifestyle. So based on DNA information, you can modify your fitness program or even your diets. If you go to, fitness club, even in Singapore, you can actually buy DNA testing because DNA testing also providing information of your fitness information, like whether you have a chance of getting ankle injuries, high chance of getting ankle injuries, or muscle flexibility, elasticity. So with this information, and personal trainer, they can modify and customize, the training program based on the DNA information. Even quite a number of, the food service company, food manufacturing companies, and they are also customizing and personalizing food diet plan based on DNA information because our DNA is different. Our difference of DNA is a 0.01%, but this 0.01% make huge difference. So based on, the DNA information, certain people it's a well perceived, high fat diet or the high protein diet, but some people it's not. So based on this information, people actually can customize diet plan because maybe you might experience you follow somebody's the diet plan and the exercise plan, but it never worked to you because your gene and your gene is different from somebody else. So you need to find out your own information and then you need to customize because we are now living in the personalization and customization society because a lot of your services and products actually customized to your preferences. But the most important thing is your genetic, the difference that make a huge difference. So you need to actually personalize and customize based on your genetic information. And this is, the another information that explain, nurture versus nature. But actually, it's not nurture versus nature. It is, in fact, nurture and nature. So if you see this diagram, it is representing your total health risk. So actually, 30% of your health risk is coming from your genetic risk, inherent genetic risk. And another 50 to 70% is coming from your lifestyle. For instance, like social circumstances and environmental exposure. So 30% because we didn't have this 30% information previous time because DNA testing was so much expensive. Angelina Jolie, she spent like more than 700,000, close to $1 million to take DNA testing because at the time DNA testing was so much expensive. But these days DNA testing becomes so much affordable. So people now have accessibility to this 30%. So after knowing 30%, people can customize and personalize their lifestyle based on their DNA information. And if you see these, the bar graph, so your trait and then your disease is combining of your DNA genetic risk and your lifestyle. Each, the disease and your trait, so different proportion of the genetic and lifestyle. So high cholesterol is determined by 40% from genetic and 60% from your lifestyle. Type 2 diabetes, of course, is pretty much based on your lifestyle. So genetic portion is only 25%. Of course, type 1 diabetes pretty much is inherited, but still there is lifestyle function and lifestyle portion. So, and there are a few the disease is 100% from genetic, like a Down syndrome and Huntington disease and cystic fibrosis. We call it as a rare genetic disorder. It's 100% from genetic, but this is a very rare case. You don't see often. So except that case, most of our trait and disease is combining interacting with your lifestyle and genetic predisposition. So this nurture versus nature now is become to the nurture and nature. And King's College in London, they studied this subject for 10 years in 3 different groups of study. And they found out that, 3 different groups of study showing the very consistent result. Actually, they study about the correlation between genetic risk and incidence rate of the coronary events, one of the heart disease, and then different lifestyle. So if I take a look, this group of study, so x-axis is the genetic risk, and y-axis is the coronary event, and different color barcoding is a different lifestyle. So if I take a look, this group of people, this group of people have a high genetic risk. And usually high genetic risk of group of people have a high incidence rate of coronary event. But if you see the different color barcoding, the incidence rate. So unfavorable lifestyle group of people, their incident rate is above 10%, but favorable lifestyle group of people is their incident rate is below 60%, 6%. You can see the the huge gap based on the different lifestyle. Of course, very best case is having a low genetic risk and having a good lifestyle. In that case, this incident rate is around 3%. But if I compare this group of people to this group of people, and persons who have a low genetic risk and having an unfavorable lifestyle, the incident rate is close to 6%. And the person who have a high genetic risk and have a favorable lifestyle actually is lower than people who have a low genetic risk and have an unfavorable lifestyle. So having a good gene doesn't mean you are going to be healthy. You need to maintain your good lifestyle. So, but there is no definition of good lifestyle. It is based on your actually DNA information, based on your customizing your lifestyle and personalizing your lifestyle, because some good ingredient of food cause your allergy, and then also because of there is no like a one single food that can maintain your own health. It's really depend on the what type of food and need to fit into your your gene. So that's why I'm keep emphasizing personalization and customization. So important key message is that you need to understand your genetic information first, and then after that you need to modify your lifestyle and then even your exercise plan. So these small difference actually make huge difference the outcome. And there is different type of genetic testing in the market. So broadly is two segments. So one is a medical grade genetic testing, and the other grade is a consumer grade genetic testing. So medical grade genetic testing is provide diagnostic information because they are checking full gene information, plus they are investigating your family history and your lifestyle and provide comprehensive and diagnostic information. So this requires doctor's consultation, and you need to buy and you need to get this testing from hospital. So Angelina Jolie, she did this medical grade genetic testing because testing result is pretty much accurate, and she actually got a lot of different the consultation from genetic counselor and or like a genetist doctors. So with this consultation, she decided to remove her breast. And medical grade genetic testing, but still is very much costly. So as I mentioned, Angelina Jolie, she spent close to $1 million, and Stephen Jobs, even he did a DNA testing, genetic testing, but it was a bit late because he was suffering with the pancreatic cancer. Pancreatic cancer, and he decided the genetic testing doing he was suffering from the cancer. It was a bit late. Anyway, so this medical grade genetic testing is still costly in Singapore. The checking breast cancer, only one cancer item, still price is above like $1,000. So checking 7 major cancer is a price around like $3,000 to $4,000. It's still much costly. And consumer grade genetic testing, in contrast, is pretty much affordable. And consumer grade genetic testing is providing predictive information, and this testing is actually checking not your full gene information. It's the small difference between the human beings. So checking variant, small variant, and providing predictive information. So that's the major difference. And pricing point is a different the point. So our recommendation, so if you have a the family history and you are super concerned about your future risk, we always recommend you to go for the medical grade genetic testing. Potentially, maybe it could save your life. Just spending $2,000 to $3,000, it could save your life because you can prevent in advance, take the medication, remove your polyp type of the small tumor. But if you don't have the family history and then you want to know purely about your future the risk, and you can go for the consumer grade genetic testing. It's affordable. It's not like $2,000 to $3,000. It's not like $100 something, and you can purchase with a very affordable price. After that, if you find a certain risk, and then you found out that your family have a common risk, and you can decide to go to the medical grade genetic testing after that. And if you Google the genetic testing in Shopee or the Q10 Lazada, you can see a lot of different type of genetic testing list. But there are the few the major difference between different service provider. Number one is a different test items. Some company, they are only providing 30, 40 items. Only a certain company only providing ancestry information, and certain company provide like a 400 to 500 items. So the first is the number of items, and second one is the number of testing genes. So they are not really providing this information, but from our the market research, so mostly the other company besides Genoplan providing between 50 to 1,000 genes, but Genoplan we are checking more than 7,000 genes, which is one of the comprehensive in the market. And plus, and certain companies, they don't have their own lab. They outsource to lab processing to China. That's why they can reduce price quite significantly. But in that case, the quality is not under control. So there is an issue of the their quality of like accuracies and data. So maybe I go for the report demonstration so you can have a better understanding, the report feature. So again, Genoplan is a web-based report. So this is my report. And report is consisting of 3 different categories: and cancer, general disease, and trait. So cancer has 32 items. So let me click the one of the common ones. So lung cancer. So it is showing my risk of having lung cancer. It's 1.92 times higher than average population in Asia. It's a relative risk score. It's 1.92 times higher than average population in Asia. So if I scroll down, there is another, the angle of, the risk information. So my cumulative likelihood of developing lung cancer until 80 is 10.8%. So which is higher than same age group people. So same age group people, their likelihood of developing lung cancer is between 3.7% to 11%. So I have a slightly high risk compared to the same age group people. So it is showing also the different the age group, the risk, because our cancer is pretty much in line our aging process. So it's a projection graph, and you can see the your risk after the 50, 60, 70, even 80. So if I scroll down, there are further information. It's a TCAT, what is lung cancer diagnosing method, symptom, risk factors. It's all the meaningful information and very insightful information. So if you are curious about to know about the scientific behind, you can always check SEAL, so you can find out the name of gene that is associating the lung cancer and gene location. A bit scientific. Also, you can check scientific reference by clicking this. So report is very much comprehensive. So it is not only having serious cancer item, but also have the trait. Like people are quite curious about the nutrition information. So there are nutrition information like the fat level and vitamin A level metabolism, vitamin B6 metabolism information. So you can actually customize even your health supplement plan. And there is another information, maybe weight management. So where is the weight management? Nutrition. Just let me check weight management. Obesity. Oh, it changed it to metabolism. Yeah. Anyway, so you can check about the obesity risk, and you can actually be prepared in advance, be prevented in advance if you have this type of information. And weight management is here. So you can check about the all your weight management information, appetite control, snacking frequencies, and calorie restriction diet, high fat diet, all information. And there is another interesting item. Hair loss is always the big issue among not only men but women. Women has a lot of issue of hair falling, hair dropping. So you can check about all the risk of your hair loss. And there is information about the interest. You can check about the all the interest item, including the motion sickness, emotional detection, even mathematical confidence. So it is like a set Wikipedia, and you can check about your information, your own information. So it's very much the good educational tool even for your kids. So because it contains a lot of the biological and medical information. So can study together, can learn together within family. So in fact, it's always we recommend you to do entire family together, because family is sharing the similar gene, and then within family they can discuss what would be the good lifestyle and how can we customize our lifestyle based on this test. Also, let me share another screen. So this is another, the information of the customization of food. Actually, this chef is a very well-known celebrity chef in Japan. So he's now working with the journal plan. We can see our company logo. Actually, he is providing customization, the food plan based on DNA testing. So actually, these websites sold how much is it? It's a cost he sold like a 200,000 value of DNA testing based on this, his approach. Actually, it is perceived well in Japan. So this is a blog he was writing about all the journal plan thing. Yeah, actually he made a good sales. Not only genetic testing, but his the own the customization food plan. He uploaded a lot of different the story about his the client. So there is another example of customization of the food based on DNA testing. So that is all about my sharing. And Jerry, can you share about your PharmaNext team solution?
Okay, thanks Min. Thanks Min for his very comprehensive sharing what is DNA testing about. Okay, what are genome plan and how can we use DNA testing in health management, right? Okay, let me do some important summary of some of the important points he shared, because he shared quite a bit, right? In case some of the ladies here logged in halfway and only heard about the Angelina Jolie story about her removing her breast and her ovaries after she did a DNA test, just want to remind all that the test that she did is what we call clinical grade, and it's very, very accurate and more diagnostic compared to ours. Ours is we call consumer grade. Not that it's not accurate, it's a different nature. Ours is predictive. Hers is more diagnostic, and we are talking about, for hers in those days, a few 100,000. What I heard from Min is like almost 500,000 US. Yeah, even though the price dropped a lot today, I think will be in the range of 100 over 1,000 too. Okay, so it's two different tests. Okay, and then another information he shared about, he showed a slide whereby he said that what we are today, right? Okay, our current situation, okay, our current health or life situation, right? 30% is coming from genetic predisposition. Okay, so the good news is that we still have 60 to 70% in our hands. Okay, in terms of managing our lifestyle, okay, having favorable lifestyle to mitigate whatever health risk or disease risk that our DNA say we are predisposed to have, right? So that's the good news. And then after that, he bring in a very interesting study, which also further confirmed this, that lifestyle is key. Remember, he bring in this King's College 10-year studies on 3 groups of people regarding the risk of getting coronary illness, which is heart disease. Okay, so the results coming from all the 3 groups it actually concurs about what he said about lifestyle is key. Okay, because remember these studies at the beginning of the studies, right? Okay, those people with genetically very low risk of getting a heart disease, okay, but they live a very unfavorable lifestyle. The actual risk of getting heart disease at the end of the 10-year research period, right, is actually higher than those who at the beginning of the test has a very high genetic risk of getting a heart disease but live very favorable lifestyle. Okay, so you see, right? Okay, lifestyle is key. So it's like don't waste your genes. Also, if you know that your genes is good, then it's like you go and live a bad lifestyle. Okay, so this is where PharmaNext come in. Okay, this is where PharmaNext come in, because PharmaNext, we have this patented device that can measure a human being's antioxidant level non-invasively. Okay, so for those who don't know, actually there's a direct correlationship between antioxidant level and our our lifestyle. Okay, if you have a favorable lifestyle, okay, you should have a good antioxidant level, which also translates into good health, of course, right? So this is where we come in. Okay, we are offering these services together with the test kit. Okay, and for those who are invited to this workshop, right? Okay, just like you can check with your friend who invited you the price of this test kit. But for the purpose of this workshop, for those who attended this workshop, right, you're getting the test kit together with one free complimentary antioxidant scan from Pharmanex. Okay, so now give me another about 10 to 15 minutes. I will share with you what is this antioxidant scanning about. Okay, what is this service about? Let me just share my screen. And after this, I will open up the Q&A for you all to ask questions regarding both services. If you all think of question, really can already put in the group chat, in the chat. Okay, so nature with nurture. Okay, will be done by Genome Plan because they have the technology to check the genes that you're born with, right? Okay, the nurture will be taken care by Pharmanex. Okay, because we have a device that can measure antioxidant, which will actually have an indication of your lifestyle, whether it's favorable or unfavorable. Okay, let me start with these slides by these two very famous scientists in the US. Okay, Dr. Richard Cutler, he's a research scientist with the National Institute of Aging from Washington, D.C. He made this statement that the amount of antioxidant in our body is directly proportional to how long we live. So you see, so like I mentioned earlier, right, there's a direct correlation between amount of antioxidant and our health, right? And then Dr. Lester Packer, he's also called the father of antioxidant. Both scientists are very famous. You can actually Google them on the internet. Okay, so Dr. Lester Packer made this statement that more than 70% of people will die prematurely from diseases caused by or compounded by deficiencies of the antioxidant network. Okay, so lots of research in this area between antioxidants and free radical. Okay, and so maybe I'll briefly explain what is free radical damage. Okay, so a free radical will make your cell go dead, which will accelerate aging. An example of a free radical is smoking. Okay, so you can see normally smokers normally look more aged than their non-smoking friends, and of course their health also will be affected because a lot of dead cells, right? The cell will also be damaged by a free radical. Okay, and when this happens, the cell will try to regenerate. If the regeneration is complete, we are okay, it's fine. But what we are afraid is impact cell regeneration. So impact cell will regenerate impact cell and so on and so forth, mutation, and then trigger what we commonly know as cancer or other chronic diseases like heart attack and things like that. Okay, so this chart will show you the sources of free radical. Okay, things like drugs and antibiotics. People who are on constant chronic medication, okay, because of inherent health issue, right? Okay, is always hit by this free radical of taking drugs and antibiotics, right? And of course, as I mentioned earlier, smoking is one of the free radical. Stress, okay, don't undermine the potency of stress on our health. Okay, so if you're always constantly under huge stress from work, from family, it does actually affect your health. Okay, because it's a very potent free radical source. Okay, viruses and bacteria like the current COVID-19 situation, EMF from the Wi-Fi network and things like that, household chemicals, alcoholics. Okay, yeah, if you drink a lot, high frequency on a daily basis, yeah, I think of course it's a very potent free radical. Okay, and excessive exercise. Exercise is good, but excessive is also, it creates an oxidative stress on your body. Things like mold, radiation, pollution. In Singapore context, people who stay in the West, like myself, will be hit with environment pollution, free radical, right? Compared to people who stay in Changi, where they don't have heavy industries. And of course, people who consume lots of processed food, okay, bacon, ham, the KFC, A&W at McDonald's, yeah, okay, will also be exposed to a high free radical. And of course, lack of sleep, just like stress, don't undermine the potency or constant lack of sleep on our good health. Okay, and then toxins, and of course the UV rays from the sunlight. Okay, so this is a very layman view of what is free radical damage, as I mentioned earlier. So you can see on the left hand side, our body does produce antioxidant, but if it's not enough, right, the case on the left hand side, it's easier for the free radical to damage the cell, right? So if you look at the right hand side, if the cell is have a very good antioxidant protection, it acts like a shield against free radical damage. Okay, so traditionally, how do we measure antioxidant? If you go to any clinics or hospital to offer these services, or if they have the necessary equipment, right, it's always an invasive procedure. Okay, that involve blood and urine. Okay, and then also a mini incision of your skin, because the antioxidant, like all those fruits and vegetables, all the different colors, right, we call it carotenoids, they actually go into your skin tissue. That forms our antioxidant network also. Okay, so they have to cut the piece of your skin, the traditional method. Okay, so 2 to 3 days later, after the lab analysis, you'll get the result. And because it involves a mini surgery, right? Okay, there's always a risk of infection and pain, and this procedure is a pretty expensive in Singapore. Later, I'll show you an example of a private organization in Singapore. So what is Pharmanex technology? We are using non-invasive laser, just 30 seconds, okay, and then accurate site of action. Okay, we just have to shine the laser on your palm, okay, and then it's affordable. But in this case, like I say, Pharmanex, because of this workshop, whoever attend this workshop, okay, will be getting a test kit. Okay, the price you pay for the test kits is including one complimentary scan from Pharmanex. Okay, this is an example of a private organization we should be all familiar with, Raffles Aesthetic. Okay, you see how much they charge for antioxidant screening package. Okay, it will set you back by almost $900 with GST. Okay, so this is the latest generation of our scanner. It's called the BIOS Photonic Scanner S3. It's already in the 3rd generation. Later, I'll show you a little bit of the history of the scanner. I'm going to play a very short 1 minute plus news feature of a news in the state of San Diego. It's called Kusai News, one of the many news channels there. They actually reported that many doctors in the state are using our device in their clinics to offer their patients antioxidant screening. Okay, let me play the video.
In tonight's Healthy Living, we zero in on antioxidants and the impact they have on our lives. At your next physical, don't be surprised if you're offered a new test that measures the amount of antioxidants in your body. The test is done with what some doctors are calling a new revolutionary tool. It's a scanner, and here's how it works. By placing the palm of your hand in front of the scanner, a low-energy blue light gives you a reading of the amount of antioxidant levels in your skin. It does this by measuring the carotenoid levels in the skin. Carotenoids are an important type of antioxidant found in many fruits and vegetables. Scientists believe they protect our cells, providing a defense from free radicals, those unstable molecules that increase your risk for diseases like cancer. In less than a minute, the scanner gives you a skin carotenoid score, or SCS. Low is at the red part of the spectrum, high, the purple. The score shows if your diet, lifestyle, and supplements you may be taking are giving you the protection you need for better health.
Unfortunately, that's most of America. Most of America falls in the red. So our job is to help people get in the green and the blue, and we do that by telling them, change your lifestyle, increase your exercise, change what you're eating. It's kind of a wake-up call.
So how much does the test cost, and is it covered by insurance?
So it's not covered by insurance. It costs $25 to get scanned. I have an insurance-based practice. People have the option of opting in or opting out. And for $25, it puts value on the scan and kind of helps them take that first step to make a commitment to be healthy.
Okay, so you can see the news feature. They also mentioned that if you have a high exposure to free radical, right, okay, your risk of getting chronic disease like cancer is higher. And then they mentioned that the higher you score on the device, the healthier you are, right? Okay, and then when the camera shift to the studio, they interviewed the doctor. The doctor said he charged $25 US per scan. Okay, it's still cheaper than the 900 Sing, right, from Raffles Aesthetic. Okay, so this is a little bit of a history of the development of our scanner. We are using this Nobel Prize physics called Raman spectroscopy. It's a refracted light technology, okay, by C.V. Raman. Okay, so in 2003, the company spent 6 years, after 6 years of research and 100 million spent, we developed the very first device in the world. It's called the S1. They can measure antioxidant non-invasively. We filed a 20-year patent. Okay, and so no one else in the world besides Pharmanex can claim to have a technology that can measure antioxidant non-invasively using Raman spectroscopy. Okay, and then a few years later, the S2 was developed. It's actually faster. The first device is 3 minutes. The second device, S2, 90 seconds. Okay, it's more accurate also. And then, of course, the latest generation we're using is the S3. It only takes 30 seconds to know your score. Okay, of course, it's the most accurate out of the 3 versions. Because it has been in the world coming to 20 years already. Lots of media reports about this device. Okay, for those who know the famous Dr. Oz, okay, in one of his show, right, you see the top left hand corner, right, it's one of his show. He actually uses the 2nd generation of our device in his show. Okay, so and he scanned his before the show starts, he actually scanned his audience to get their score, and then you can see the audience wear different color t-shirt, right? It actually correspond to the color zone that they get on the device, because red is no good. The best is blue. I mean, today's technology is platinum cover is the best. Okay, and he scanned himself live. He got a very high score. I still remember. I have the video actually. Yeah, so he actually scored 25,000. Okay, in today's time, he will be put him in the platinum zone. He actually scanned himself live in the show. Okay, and we also featured in local media. Okay, Channel 8, Channel 5, Channel U. Because you see on the bottom left hand corner, when our EMGO was being scanned on the first generation at a health promotion board event. And of course, in the US, all the major news channels also feature us. And then the S2 was also the one that Goh Chok Tong was scanned on is the S1, right, the first generation. And a few years later, when S2 came to Singapore at another health promotion event, the then Health Minister, Common One, was one of the VIP, of course, and he was being scanned on that our device also. Okay, so Health Promotion Board already aware there's such a technology in the market, yeah, by Pharmanex, of course. And this one is a screenshot of a Channel News Asia feature. I think this is about 7-8 years ago. It's also on our second generation. So you can see very clearly our Dr. Mark Bartlett, one of our scientists involved in the invention of the S3 also. Okay, so he's called Dr. Mark Bartlett. Okay, the VP of R&D from Pharmanex. Okay, so he actually been interviewed on our national TV. Okay, so I had the honor to meet him in person in 2018 here in Singapore. And if you go to our showroom, you'll see the 3 generation of the scanner being displayed prominently. Okay, the one I'm holding is the latest generation called the S3. Let me bring your attention to this caption by Channel News Asia in the show. It's a morning show. If you watch the morning show, you all will know there's this segment called The Doctor Is In. So it's featured under this segment called The Doctor Is In, where they will feature the latest advanced medical breakthrough. Okay, so of course our technology qualifies as a breakthrough, right? So you can see the caption by them, measuring your antioxidant level. What does it say about your immunity? So you see right now, I mean, we have a COVID-19 situation, right? So of course, now we have vaccination. In fact, I just did my vaccination today at 3 p.m. Luckily, there's no side effects like sleepiness and tiredness. So I'm still able to hold this workshop. Okay. So you see, but the best to fight the virus is always our own body immunity, right? Yeah. So this scanner, the score from the scanner also gives you an indication of how strong your immunity level is to virus. Okay. And then this slide will show you other medical professionals and clinics and doctors using our service in their practice. Okay. On the left is an eye care specialist called Advanced Eye Care. You can go to the website. If you see from the website, you look under their services, you can see they offer biophotonic scanner from Pharmanex as one of their services. But I'm sure they will charge the customer for this service. Okay. And then on the right is Dr. Murphy, Dr. Paul Murphy. Okay, he's a sports medicine doctor. So you can see in his website, he also offers this biophotonic scanning under regenerative medicine. Okay, so I think his clientele will be mostly all the sports people, right? Because this is a good device to measure the amount of oxidative stress that his sportsmen and athletes clients have been put through because of their training regime. Okay. Okay, so I will. Okay, before I end my session, let me when you all have been scanned on the device, right? These are the 5 factors. Okay, because when you buy the test kit, you get one free scan per month, right? These are the 5 factors that will affect your score on our device. Okay, basically your diet. Okay, typically people who eat lots of high amounts of fruits and vegetables have higher score. Like what Dr. Oz mentioned in his show, right? The one I showed earlier, right? He actually said we need to take 9 servings of fruits and vegetables. But frankly, how many of us are taking that kind of amount, right? Yeah, so you have not even taking lots of fruits and vegetables, don't expect to have a good score on the device. Okay, and of course, supplementation. People will consume well-formulated supplement. Let me stress the word well-formulated. Okay, and it has to be antioxidant. Not all supplements contain antioxidant. Okay, so antioxidant includes things like phytonutrients and things like that. Yeah. So if you're not taking a well-formulated one, if you use synthetic ingredients, right? Actually, your body cannot absorb. So doesn't mean that you take supplement, you will have a good score. It depends. Okay, so this is a good device to gauge whether the supplements that you're taking all these years is working, okay, or is it being absorbed in the first place. Okay, and of course the third factor will be body fat percentage. People who are generally overweight or obese will score badly on our device. Okay, and then lifestyle. If your lifestyle has high exposure to free radicals, okay, then your score will be low. Okay, like for example, I mentioned earlier. Okay, some of the examples like smoking, stress, sunlight pollution. These are the common sources of free radical. Okay, and last factor is your genes. Okay, individual differences in our body, a predetermined ability to absorb carotenoids will affect the score. Okay, in the past, before my exclusive partnership in Genome Plan, I was not able to tell this part. I can only make the statement where, oh, maybe your genes they cannot absorb, because I have customers who take lots of fruits and vegetables, eat a very clean diet, but they didn't score well on my device. But now with Genome Plan, the DNA report, right, there's this entire category on nutrition where you can check based on your gene, right? Okay, how is your body able to metabolize the vitamin A, the iron, the calcium, the magnesium, the vitamin E from the diet that you take. So now I'm able to tell. You see, in the past I can just make a statement. Maybe it's your genes. Yeah. Okay. So basically, this is what Pharmanex antioxidant scanning is about. Okay. So I'll now open up the Q&A. Okay. Let me see whether in the chat there's already people asking questions. Okay. Wow, quite a bit. Okay, let me go through one by one. Questions on, okay, from Rosalind. Okay, how accurate is a saliva sample versus blood sample for testing? Okay, and then from Rosalind, you mentioned that report is web-based, so does it mean you get a password to log in the report? How long can we have this access? Okay, Mina, can you answer this question regarding saliva sample versus blood sample?
Yeah, so technically there is no difference, saliva and blood sample, because actually extracting same DNA information. Actually, even if your hair or skin, well, all your body, the tissue organ contain the same DNA information, but difference, saliva and blood is a different processing, because blood is contain more quantity of DNA, so more easy to process. So blood, but have a problem of transportation, because it's a temperature sensitive, so it has to be, the transport in the around like a 4 degrees temperature. So there is issue of transportation. That's why the hospital, they are taking blood sample, because they are actually analyzing sample in hospital, within hospital, so it doesn't need to transport outside of hospital. So hospital, they prefer to blood sample, but like home-based genetic testing, because it requires a lot of transportation, the process. So most of the home genetic testing company using saliva because of the transportation convenience, and then the storage convenience. It lasts up to 6 months in room temperature, but blood is only last 2 to 3 weeks. But technically there is no difference, but different processing, and then blood show the much high quantity of DNA, so easy to process. Only the processing different. Yeah.
So I think for the convenience of home testing, yeah, it's not practical to use blood, right? Because of transportation and storage of the blood. Yeah.
Yeah, there is no company using blood sample. Actually,
Yes.
there's a few companies that the blood, how to say, there's a paper, and then there is a small needle inside of the testing kit, and they just like a blood, take the blood, and then the swabbing the paper thing. But there is the issue of contamination, because sometimes they don't wash hand, and then there's a lack of the blood quantity required to send again sample. Yeah, blood. Yeah.
Okay, and then regarding report, it's web-based and app-based. You can also download an app from the Google Play or App Store. Okay, Genome Plan. Okay, and you can also access using web app-based. Okay, so password, you have to create your own ID and your password. Okay, and then you can view the report for how long do we have access? I think it's forever, right? I mean, how long to have access to this? Yeah.
As long as the Genome Plan is alive.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember whether Min did mention one of the Genome Plan's advantage over other companies is they do have this free lifetime update feature, which for other brands you would have to pay a service, pay a subscription, or if you subscribe to their highest package, okay, like 800 plus, then you have this live update where whenever there's new research, new reports, okay, we're gonna get it all for free, okay, even though you get the test kit today, okay, in a few months time, next year or subsequently, when Genome Plan has any new reports, you get it for free. And like for example, we might be getting Ancestry one of these days, according to Genome Plan. They're working on this. Okay, Ancestry will be something that is fun to look at, right? Yeah, like whether you have Korean blood, whether I have Korean blood like Min, or maybe Min don't even have Korean blood. I don't know. Okay, let me see it. Okay, the other question is thinking of getting this test for the whole family. Can kids do the test? Youngest 3 years old can do. Yeah, okay, maybe I can answer this also. Yeah, in fact, the younger you do this test, the better. So my advice to my clients will be, as long as the kid can voluntarily spit saliva, that means you ask the kid spit. You don't have to dig the saliva out into the test tube provided, right? Okay, should do the test, because the younger you do the test, the more number of years you can make lifestyle changes to mitigate whatever risk. I give you an example. I'm 48 last year. This year I'm 49. I did my DNA report last year when I'm 48. Okay, it shows that I got very high risk of getting stomach cancer, which is quite accurate for my family part, especially on my dad's side. Okay, so of course I started to make lifestyle changes because in the report it actually give you some lifestyle tips, like in terms of what kind of food you should be avoiding, what kind of lifestyle you should be living, right? Like stop smoking and things like that. Yeah, I already make all these lifestyle changes, but that was when I'm already 48, right? But if last year I'm 2 years old, let's say, okay, but of course when I'm 2 years old, such a technology is not available, right? The human genome only decoded in 2003, right? And it's only recently affordable, right? I'm just saying, if last year I did the test as a 2-year-old, I would have get the exact same result with high risk of getting stomach cancer. My mom or my dad would have already, because based on the results, okay, start to do change my lifestyle, change my diet, okay, make sure that I'll never even smoke in my life, okay, things like that. So you see, it's very useful if you can let your kids do it ASAP. I mean, as young as they can, so that you can have a lot of time to mitigate the health risk using lifestyle methods. Yeah. Okay. For answer your question from Dan. Okay. Then another question from Rosalind. Further to question, what is the age group range you recommend? Okay. Min, you want to answer this? Of course, the young one is as young as possible. As long as the subject can spit saliva, right? How about the upper end? Min, what's your recommendation? Age group. Min, are you hear me, or are you muted? Okay, let me wait for, maybe Min is left for a while. Yeah, we saw the question by Rosalind about what's the recommended age group. Of course, the younger one I already addressed, like as long as you can spit saliva, should do. How about the older age?
So older age, so there is no limit of the DNA testing age. For old people, they are a bit hesitate to do it because old people obviously have a high risk. Yeah. So it's up to them. Yeah, up to their decision. Yeah. But usually, our test usual groups are between like 30 to 60. That is our majority of the group of age.
Okay. So question from Wen will be, how do we claim this antioxidant scan? Any limit on the scan? Oh, okay. Of course, this is for me, for Pharmanex. Yeah, because our office is close to the public because of the COVID-19 social distancing measures, right? So because the current generation of the device is portable, my team of consultants will be, when we deliver the test kit to you, okay, we will be also performing the scan, okay? Because it's portable, we can do it at your home, at your office, or at a cafe, okay? So yeah, and then age group, for this, we do recommend for only people 3 years and above, okay? Yeah, 3 years and above, then should be put on this antioxidant scan. Okay, yeah, children can scan also, of course. Is it true that people who are, okay, there's a question from Hui Yan. Is it true that people who is 18 and above who have so-called matured genes, meaning more accurate tests? Okay, so apparently, this means that you don't understand the what is this DNA testing about. Min, you want to answer this?
Yeah, so it's a bit technical. So there are 2 different types of DNA, the testing. One is a germline checking. Germline is an inherited DNA from your parent. So this germline DNA is contain the same information from first day of life till the end of your life. So there is no called like a matured DNA. But there is the other case, we say somatic mutation. Somatic mutation is your DNA is damaged by sunlight, UV, or some like radiation. So this type of testing is the other layer of testing. So they actually take out your tissue from your body and check the very specific cell DNA, the mutation. But there is the other layer of DNA testing. But our testing is checking your inherited risk. So there is no difference, based on age. So actually, answer is it doesn't matter of how old of user. Actually, it contains same DNA and provide same information regardless of the age.
Yep. That means what we are offering is what we call predictive nature, is what we are born with, right? So this test it doesn't matter at what age you do. Like just now I mentioned, right? If I'm a 2-year-old, I do last year, I'll get the same result because this is the DNA that stays with me from birth. Okay. But what we can change is our lifestyle, right? Yeah. So it's not set in stone. Okay. So don't scare yourself unnecessarily by doing our test and then wow, I got high risk of getting cancer. But good news is actually cancer is very lifestyle. Lifestyle is still key, right? And of course, this test only need to be done once in your lifetime. Okay, so like I mentioned, Student Plan going to have a lot of free updates, right? Yeah, because we already have your DNA samples, right, decoded in the computer. So they just retrieve the data and then give you the new reports. You don't have to send your saliva over again because your gene don't change anyway. Okay, and do your test check for autoimmune disease condition. Yeah,
Yeah, we have only one item. It's autoimmune hepatitis. So we have only autoimmune disease in our report. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember I do see some autoimmune disease in the DNA report. Of course, 500 items. I'm still, sometimes I still discover new things about myself through the report. Yeah. And okay, there's no question regarding the price of separation. Let me see. Yeah. Because a common question is regarding how come Genome Plan is able to price our test kit so competitive, so affordable despite having quite a comprehensive report like 500 items. Let's say compared to Circle DNA, they are charging like 899. Yeah, Min, you want to explain why? Why is this possible? Yeah, why is Genome Plan able to price so affordable, so attractive? Yeah.
So Genome Plan actually reduced cost significantly by automation of process. So our entire process is fully automated. So there is no labor. Actually, our lab people, only like 3 to 5 people working in the lab because there is no, the require of manpower doing this thing. It's all like fully automated, and we reduce cost and plus, and we don't spend marketing, the budget. And because my marketing budget actually is 0 this year, so we actually save a lot of marketing budget. And instead of spending marketing, we reduce price. So if you see all the genetic testing service, the price above 200, so around $70 to $80 actually their marketing cost, because DNA is require a lot of marketing activities, and then actually user acquisition cost. User acquisition cost means is to acquire one user, how much does it cost? Usually $70 to $100 one user acquisition cost. That's why you see the most of the testing provider, their price is above $200 because $200 inclusive of the $80 marketing cost. So our strategy is not spending marketing price and reduce pricing instead. That's why we are partnering with the Pharmanex to save our marketing costs and give a benefit of the low price to customer. Yeah.
Yep. So Serena, you can check with I saw Serena, you can check with the person who invited you the cost of our test kit. Yeah. So, and of course, we'll give you one free complimentary antioxidant scan. Okay. And yeah, another, like for example, the very famous Circle DNA, one of the high contribution to the huge cost is because they use a lot of celebrity endorsement and very famous social influencer. So they have to transfer all these costs to the consumer. So what you're paying in a test kit, you're paying a huge part for the marketing cost, and they use a lot of Facebook marketing. So I'm sure you all have seen Gem, Gem is one of the ambassador, and then you have Vanessa Wu, you have Gigi Leong, they are actively sharing on social media about this brand. So yeah, I mean, it's like today you see Min and myself, we are not celebrity. Okay, so yeah, so we it's a B2B, B2B2C. So we are using a B2B2C model here, which is why you are getting it at the best price possible in the DNA testing market. Yeah, we cut out literally all the middleman costs. Okay, and Genome Plan, they own their own labs, unlike some of the brands out there. They have to outsource their labs. So all these labs also will charge a cost. And then some DNA testing also sold at retail at Watson, like Circle DNA is sold at Watson. You all can go to Watson cashier and ask for their test kit. They'll take it from behind the counter because they cannot put at the normal shelf because it's the most expensive item in the whole box, in the whole of Watson's. Yeah, so you see, Watson will need to get a cut of the test kit too. You will never see Genome Plan being sold at GNC and Watson's. Okay, so they are entirely via partnership with Pharmanex, like in this case. Okay, So let me see any more questions. Let me see. How much is yours? Okay, so yep, yeah. So check with the person who invited you on the course. Okay, and yeah, since there's no more questions, I will end today's session. And I encourage whoever attended today's session has find that this is useful and know that actually DNA testing can be very affordable. And then we also there's such a service called antioxidant screening, non-invasive. Okay, do share with your friends and invite them for our weekly workshop. Okay, we hold every Wednesday 8 p.m. because I'm doing this for almost 1 year already, because I want to create this awareness that DNA testing can be very affordable. Okay, and people should be knowing more about themselves through via their genes. Okay, thanks everyone for your participation. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Min. Bye bye.